So here starts the tour for John and Annie Glenn's museum. Here you'll see some of the background with John and Annie, his backbone and wife. John, as you know, had orbited the Earth first, and he grew up in the house we're having the museum in. We just watched a short clip that, gave the background of John and how he met Annie and, how they fell for each other. It was a sweet video. As we could progress through the tour, here starts the tour. So this is where a young actress took us around his childhood home and later his home with his wife. This actress played the daughter of John and Annie Glenn, answering questions as if she was in fact her, and giving us, a gist of what John and Annie like to use, what they love to do as a family, and little pastimes that they had. It gave both his youth and his adult life for John, because again, he was, raised in this house. So lots of memorabilia, pictures of him and his wife and other family members. She pointed at a picture a little while ago of her, quote unquote, and gave more information as we progressed. And as we did ask questions, and she answered just like the daughter would have. There was old board games even that they liked, and paintings and etchings from the family, because her hobby was to paint. Now, moving on, this would be one of the bedrooms. There was hearing aids, because John actually lost his hearing in an explosion during one of his trainings. And there's bathroom with the stuff that, Annie would have used, and paintings just to show, not only who he was, but others that went through the same thing. And that was him in the exact same replica of what he was in. Now, you'll see there's toys and pouches and, again, just memorabilia. This is history, guys. This is a plain old simple history. This lady here was giving us the tour of each room and discussing, the importance of each item. Now, some of the pictures were, again, like news articles, and further on, she discusses some of the outfits that they used.
Here in the yearbook that Hartford Seal was the greatest teacher he ever had, and history was his favorite class.
These outfits were used for different purposes when he was around in civilian life. The white one was when he was in the presence of people like the President of the United States, and the other was for galas of sorts.
That they threw for him in New York City. You can see all the people there to support him as well. Now we threw a very similar parade here in New Concord. I'll just step around you real quick, sorry.
Here you'll see some magazine covers and some memorabilia from the time. Back, it was something the president presented. Now this sign, it was put between two cities, Cambridge and New Concord, because he was born in Cambridge and grew up as a young child in New Concord. So that was their treaty, as you could say, for where he comes from. He's from both. Now, this was his childhood bedroom. You can see a lot of study materials. He loved his globes. A lot of model planes in his room. There was a letter that Annie wrote for him when they were kids that was the original copy on the desk to look at. And then, again, he had maps, loved the idea of flight and, seeing the skies. So this was his bedroom. Now, these are family pictures and, events that he's attended. Now, this room had a lot of the older pieces. The oldest piece being this dress. This was Annie's grandmother's dress. So it's a good 100 to 200 years old. Piano, the family loved music. They went to galas. There was a dental mechanism you saw there. This is the small hallway that they would have walked through. So I literally took the steps of a man that went to space. And here you'll see letters and recognition from significant figures such as presidents. And then there will be pictures on the wall here in a moment that is him with that, with those individuals. But this was also Annie's dressing room and the places that she could go to get ready for the day. Now, Annie had a stutter, so John and Annie were great matches for each other. Annie had John's back, supporting him through and through, and John wanted Annie to feel comfortable. Stutter or not, she was the love of his life. So Project Mercury was that trip that John went on. I hope you guys enjoyed this tour. It doesn't engulf everything or encapsulate everything that we had seen. I hope you will go to give them a visit. There are great photo op opportunities. And lastly, here's a quote that I thought meant a lot to many. Take care. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching John and Annie Glenn, part of history, first to orbit the Earth. Well, John. Annie was the support that kept him going. And I hope you go take a look. They also donated to my family's Christmas in a Jar program, where a family in need, not necessarily at Christmas, we're extending it through the year because we're running into more and more cases of people needing help. So we want to thank you to the museum for donating. You are the best. And I hope you guys subscribe. Share the Hope _photos and or both, hopefully. Go to my family's channel that's run by my mom. Share the Hope _FSSC. They're the main ones running that Christmas in the Jar. I'm a helper, and I like to put it on my channel. I want to give these companies the recognition they deserve, or these organizations. So thank you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and love you all. See ya.